This is Module 4, Lesson 12, Changing Fractions to Decimals using the scale factor of 1. So we're going to start with a fraction of 1/5, and we have to remember that in order to make a fraction into a decimal, we need the denominator to be 10, 100, or 1000. So in this case, we have 1/5, and we're going to ask ourselves, what can I change 1/5 to? So we're going to try with the first one, which is a 10 over here. So I ask myself, 5 times what is 10? So 5 times 2 is 10. So I have to do the same thing on top, which will get me 2. And this number right here, 2 over 2, when the numerator and the denominator are the same, it's equal to 1. So we know now that 1/5 and 2/10 are equal, they're the same value, and I can write 2/10 as a decimal, just like that. That's 2/10. And then that shows me that they all have the same value. Another example is 3/5. So once again, we're going to set it up that we have to multiply, and we want either 10, 100, or 1000. And so over here, we make it 10, and we ask ourselves 5 times what could be 10, and we know that 5 times 2 is 10. So 3 times 2 is 6, and we have 6/10, and this is equal to 1, so it gives us that same value, and we write 6/10, just like this. Next, we have 1/4. So we're going to go through our same pattern, and we ask ourselves 4 times what is 10, and using whole numbers, 4 times nothing is 10. So instead of using 10, we're going to try the next number, which is 100. 4 times what is 100? Well, 4 times 25 is 100. So then I have to put the same value up on top so that it's equal to 1, and 1 times 25 is 25. And 25 hundredths as a decimal is written like that. Next, we have 1/8. So we're going to set up our whole pattern again. We start with 10, and we know that 8 times what is 10? There's nothing that goes in there. So then we're going to try 100. Well, some of you might not know it off the top of your head, so you might want to do some division. 8 goes into 100. And there's a remainder, and if there's a remainder, it means it doesn't go in evenly. And since it doesn't go in evenly, then we're going to add another 0, and we're going to try to change it to 1000. And we see in this case, it does go in evenly. It goes in evenly 125 times. So we're going to do 8 times 125. And 1 times 125 equals 125. And my decimal is 125 thousandths. Next, we're going to try this with 1/20th. Well, 20 times what is 10? That's not going to work. So 20 times what is 100? We would say 5. So we need a 5 on top so that we have the same number, and it's 5 hundredths. And now we have to know, here's our decimal. We have tenths, hundredths. So 5 has to end in the hundredths. So there is my decimal. Next is 1 and 1/20th. And we have said that whenever we work with mixed numbers, we need to turn them into improper fractions. So 20 times 1 is 20. And then we have to add 1 plus 1 over my original 20. So we end up with 21/20ths. So now we're going to go over here and we're going to turn 21/20ths times something, or multiplied by something, equals 10. Well, we know that won't work, so we're going to try 100. 20 times 5 is 100, and 21 times 5 is 105. And when I turn that into a mixed number at the end, it's 1 and 5 hundredths. And as a decimal, it's 1 and 5 hundredths. Next, we're going to try 6/25ths as a decimal. We're going to try 10, which we know 25 times something cannot get me to 10, but maybe 100. So we're going to put 4 there. 25 times 4 is 100. We put the 4 on top, so it makes one number. 6 times 4 is 24, and we end up with 24 hundredths. And the last example that we're going to work on for today is 51 fiftieths times some number equals something over 100. 50 times 2, so this is 2, it's 102, and 102 hundredths is equal to 1 and 2 hundredths, which is equal to 1 and 2 hundredths. And that's how we change fractions to decimals when they're not 10, 100, 1000.